What's up guys, I'm Sean. Today I'm working on my F82 M4 dual purpose track build. I'm going to be replacing the factory driver's seat with a bucket seat. I like the look of the OEM competition seats, especially with this cutout right here, but they're not very good on the track. I'm sliding around like crazy, and when I'm sliding around I can't feel what the car is doing, so it's hard to control the car, especially when I drive with DSC completely off. I even do the seatbelt hack trick where you slide the seat back, put on your seatbelt and snap it, and then slide the seat forward. It gets really tight and it holds you in a little bit better, but because it's 3-point, I can't run a Hans. And unfortunately, because the stock seat doesn't have a removable headrest, I can't run the Schroth Quick Fit Pro. So by replacing the seat, I'm going to have harness slots so I could run a harness with my Hans and helmet. When you remove the factory seat, you're going to lose the stock side airbag, and you're going to lose the heated function and the electric function. So that's a consideration you have to take in. Plus you're going to get the airbag light, so you're going to have to coat out the seat. This is the seat I'm going with. The OMP RT seat, fiberglass, leather with Alcantara, and the OMP side mounts, and the BimmerWorld floor mounts. I bought this entire set from BimmerWorld. I work with them on my E46 M3 track car. Now I'm working with them on my F82 M4 dual purpose build. Now let's get to the install. Before I disconnect the battery, I'm going to slide the seat back and remove the 2 T50 Torx bolt in the front of the seat rail. And then slide the seat forward, remove the 2 bolts in the rear. With all 4 bolts removed and the seat back to the middle position, tip the seat back or disconnect the battery first. Move this black lever and this should come out. Now I can pull out the entire seat. Alright, I'm going to weigh the factory seat. It is about 60 pounds. Alright, in comparison, the new setup, the steel side mounts and the BimmerWorld floor mounts weigh about 13 pounds. And I weighed the OMP seat and it was about 21 pounds. The mounting hardware plus the OMP seat is about 34 pounds. Factory seat is about 60 pounds. So that's about a 25 pound savings overall. The BimmerWorld floor mounts came with instructions. Basically, you're going to add these spacers to the front so that becomes flush. And this one to the front on this side too. The BimmerWorld kit came with their bolts and washers. Slide there. Make sure that the washer is in there. Then I just tighten down these bolts with a 17 socket. Installing a race seat is a lot of trial and error, and you have to adjust it to your liking. So here's the OMP side mount. I'm going to put it at the top and the second one for now. And the OMP seat came with the hardware for the side mounts. So you got to start somewhere, and this is what I'm going to start for now and see how it fits. And I'm running a fixed mount, so this is going to mount directly to the floor mount. Quick test fit. Yeah, sitting too high. So I'm going to play around with it and see where I land. I'm going to reuse my stock 3-point seatbelt receptacle. So I'm just going to remove it with a Torx T50. Now I have to go to the hardware store to find a bolt similar to this and or a nut to go to this. So the stock seatbelt receptacle, I'm going to cut the zip tie, follow the wire, and remove it from this harness. Use a really thin flathead screwdriver and push the little tab right there. And then both the blue and white connectors should slide out. And then I want this one with the white connector. Went to my local Ace hardware store to pick up some hardware. The seat belt bolt is M10 by 1.5 pitch. And I just brought a couple of different sizes with some fender washers and the lock nut. And the floor mount is M8 by 1.25. So these are for the floor mounts. And these might be for the seatbelt bracket. Seatbelt bracket, I'm going to just try this out. It's just an L bracket. or this bore handle bracket that I may just cut. I mean, a seatbelt bracket you can buy from VAC Motorsports or somewhere else. It's just a bent piece of metal. Here's the OEM seatbelt bracket I made. It's just the L bracket cut. The holes are drilled out a little bit bigger. The hardware is installed, and I'm going to run this underneath this bracket back here. The OMP steel side mounts do not line up with the holes on the BimmerWorld floor mounts. It's slightly off. If that bolt is in, you can see it's slightly off. So I may have to just notch it a little bit so this will work. And I just notched the hole right there a little bit, maybe about 1 millimeter. And the one right there about 1 millimeter. Now I can run the M8 hardware with a fender washer. So now let's mock up the seat. I spent hours trying to figure out this thing, and I finally did. So the OMP mounts, if you line it up parallel in line with the VAC mount, the OMP mounts go further outward, whereas the VAC mount goes further inward. And that happens on both sides. So when I try to do the fixed floor mount with the OMP mounts without the sliders to the BimmerWorld floor mounts, it's not enough space. It extends way out further, and there's no mounting holes and there's no floor mounts out here. So that's my issue. The issue is the OMP side mounts do not work with the BimmerWorld mounts. At least these ones don't. This is the OMP tall side mounts in steel. Maybe the other side mounts work. So right now I have no choice but to run the VAC mounts with the sliders. I know in my other video I said not to run sliders, but I'm in a bind right now. I have a track event coming up in 2 weeks, so I got to get this installed. And having sliders on a street car actually might be a little nice. I can slide it back and forth. Alright guys, that's a wrap. Finally got the seat installed. There's so many different iterations you can do. Flipping the mounts, moving it forward, back, the side mounts, etc. Unfortunately, the OMP side mounts didn't work for me. So luckily, I had these VAC Motorsport mounts and these sliders. I've had these for about 10 years, ever since my E90 335 build. It's just been sitting in the garage, so I get to repurpose it. The proper way to run the stock seat belt is over there, through this opening. The lap belt go through the opening of the seat and into the OEM receptacle, so that way it's nice and snug. It shouldn't go over the seat because that gap is actually really dangerous. And now I could run my Schroth Quick Fit Pro harness with my Hans device. Before you say the 4-point harness is dangerous without a cage, watch the HMS Motorsport video where they explain how a 4-point harness is still safer than a 3-point harness on the street and on the track. And I don't want to run a half cage right now because I still use the back seat for my kids. My E46 M3 already has a welded half cage. This build is a dual purpose build, so the Schroth Quick Fit Pro harness is going to do for now. And the Schroth Quick Fit Pro has anti-submarine technology, so there's slack webbing built in here. So in the case of an accident, it's going to create some slack, allowing my body to turn a little bit forward so I don't submarine. No seatbelt light, just the driver restraint system light on. I need to get that coded out. Alright, I'm here at Andrew's place. He's helping me code out my airbag light. And again, Andrew helped me code out the EDC. He added the GTS steering, GTS diff, and a bunch of other stuff for me. So if you're in the Bay Area, Andrew can code it for you in person, or he can code it remotely. Hit him up at Farco_tech or Farco0079. Alright, Andrew just coded out the airbag light. It took less than 5 minutes. So everything's good now. So looking forward to trying this out in the track in a few weeks. Now I should be glued to the car, glued in my seat, and not slide around anymore. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.